the west side.
All right, so we're gonna start a new project. So in your terminal, CD into your projects. Once you're in projects, I'm putting mine in kitchen sink, but that's because that's where I'm keeping it. Just go into projects and you can just keep it in projects. It'll be code dev island projects. And then you're gonna run npx, create React app, and I'm calling it Pennies React. You're welcome to call it Pennies or Pennies React or whatever you see fit. Where did my terminal just go?
Penny React. Oh, what happened? What did I do?
No such file or directory. Oh,
So no code dev island project. I'm just fine. That's why.
CD
Yeah, CD
and then
projects.
code.
Code.
Yep, tab,
Okay.
dev island, tab, projects, tab, enter, and then that.
And then NPX. That's going to be the last thing you have to tell me how to do that, by the way.
What?
You know,
npx?
no, what you just said, the code. Because that's the, I
I'm
already.
just changing directories.
Yeah, but I know it already, man, and I shouldn't even have to ask you. Okay.
I
It's
forgive
the
you.
last time. No more.
I will never help you with it again, I
Next
promise.
one. Just like function, yeah? It's gonna be one of those.
Yes, we're gonna ask you how to write a function today. It's gonna be amazing.
Stuff.
So, also, probably starting next week, I'll let you know on Thursday for sure. But I'm gonna try and set up some one-on-ones, and we'll go through your projects that are completed in your GitHub together, and you will explain what they do, and I will critique what you did, and I will do my best not to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't have feelings, so you'll have to tell me if I'm hurting them. But I think that will give me a better idea of where everybody's at, understanding-wise, and we'll do that in a one-on-one as opposed to having it be something that there's nerves with everybody else watching too. So, cool. So I'm gonna set a schedule for that, and then I don't know if we should have it show up early for this, or have this start later and have just that person that's one-on-one is there for like the first 30 to 45 minutes. So think about it, and then we can talk about what we're gonna do on Thursday. So I don't want to disrupt
Parent-teacher
anybody's.
conference?
Yes,
It'll be like that.
it'll be just like
so
that,
everybody gets 20 minutes.
except
Go to
for
your own
you
parents.
don't have to.
Parent-student conference.
You don't have to bring your parent.
Okay. Teacher-student.
I mean, you can, but they're not allowed to speak. Because, yeah, I don't do well with parents crying as I rip their child apart.
Rip children apart, AJ?
You a breakfast?
Yes. All right, everybody got this?
Mm-hmm.
You hear it enters and, oh man, contains files. Either try using it or remove the files listed above. I don't want to. Can I do a -F? -F, come on, just do it. Oh, there's probably
What's the dash F do?
force, but I don't know that it actually does anything in this case. I was just trying to make it.
No matter what.
I didn't want to have to add those prettier files, but I will, I guess.
It's all great for no traffic going east. And it's not doing
questions.
That's not till Thursday. You don't do that today.
Yeah.
We don't
I
even
was-
have that.
I told her when I got to class, I was freaking out, man, because I wasn't in the last class. So when I saw those little video, of you guys in your car with the red face, I'm like, Stranger Things, man. I am not going back to that class. They're all in another vortex or somewhere. Fallopian tubes, whatever. I ain't going back there. He did something, he brainwashed some body snatchers or something. I don't know what you did to him. You're in the car like,
I convinced them.
song.
I convinced them to take videos of themselves while driving.
Only person who wasn't affected was him. I was like, okay.
No, he took one too.
I just forgot to.
He just didn't upload it.
I'm still.
Speaking of which, you need to upload it. I was thinking what we should do is if you'll post your questions in that channel,
Oh, yeah.
then you could just upload the video for that question in the thread,
There we go.
and then we'll remember what that question was. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. Oh, so you were in traffic?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you too? Oh.
That's what the red light was.
Okay, I get
I was too mad to record it.
it. You said-
I was pretty good.
I can see it in your brow, just right there. A little bit of like, I'm breathing heavy. My heart's beating a little bit faster than
All right. So I'm gonna CD into source just because that'll be easier. And then LL, and I want to get rid of the extra crap that Create React app made for me. It has that little logo that goes right. So I'm going to remove app.css and logo and report vitals and setup tests. And I'll leave the and app test. CD source. If you ran npx, then you need to CD into Penny's React.
Okay.
And then you should CD source, and then you should be able to LL and see those, and then remove them. Is that big enough? I can make it
No
bigger.
such foul. What do you mean no such foul? What's that?
You need to CD into React Pennies first. You're in projects.
Oh, okay. CD independent.
You want to be in Penny's React and then in
Oh.
source.
You need React?
Whatever you named it.
So once you see these, then you remove these into source.
And then you need one?
Right there. Penny's
Oh, there it
React.
is. Trinity. There it is. Okay.
You should only have 3 left.
Yes. Once you're done, you should have app.js, index.css, and index.js.
Okay. And then remove all that. Then do that again.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you in source? CD source first. Then push up twice. Oh, that was right. Push up twice. Down once. No, hit
Oh,
enter.
there we go.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, once you have that, then hit ... and hit enter. And that will take you back to Penny's React. You should see source go away, and it should say Penny's React
Yeah.
on your ting. And then let's see. Now we want to install Tailwind. Is everybody here? Okay. So I can. Are you still removing, Sharice?
No.
Okay. I'm going to clear this because I don't like working at the bottom of the screen.
I
It
understand.
annoys me. Control L. Where you can type clear. Clear like that. Nope, not like that. Like this. Yeah. Control L. I like better.
Control lock. Control F.
Okay. So now we're gonna do npx or npm install -d Tailwind CSS, post CSS, and auto prefixer. Just like that. Should run like that. You don't have to have the semicolon at the end.
6 high severity homes.
6 of them. It's okay. We're not putting this out there anywhere.
30 homes.
We should be fine. Just don't put any personal information in there. What's happening? What? Error what? Compile? Are you running it? Sometimes I'll click the tab or the what's this called, trackpad, on accident, and then I end up somewhere I don't want to be while typing. So you send code to your mom on messages. So I'll be typing and realize I hit enter and I just sent a message.
She'll think it's like something from Russia or something. No, we don't send you, you're a spy.
Mm-hmm.
There used to
You
be
send the spy.
a file or like a link or whatever that you could send to someone's iPhone and it would shut down the iPhone.
Oh,
when you
damn.
restart it.
How would you do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
My friends did it to me
Ooh.
in high school and were like, ha ha ha.
We didn't have that back in our
Yeah, me
We
either.
used to WhatsApp people. Then still need.
I got hit in the head with a rock once.
Yeah. We all
From
did.
people throwing rocks at
Back in
us.
the 80s.
It hurt. I bled a lot.
The 2000s were the best years of high school.
Maybe
Cell phones,
20 times.
cell phones and
Yeah,
viruses.
I graduated 2002.
You did?
Mm-hmm. But I didn't have a cell phone. There were not iPhones.
God, that's crazy.
I know.
Oh, you sure you're old enough to drive?
Yes.
Damn. That means I'm really old.
We are kids.
You're a kid. Oh God. It could be my child.
You can't be my child.
No, because you're 38. No, you're 30.
I'm 38.
Yeah, 38. No, you can't be my child.
I was gonna say I don't think
I would
I'm
be
that
I
young.
would be delinquent if I had you at 12 years old.
Yeah,
I would be. Oh wow, that would be a mess. If you were my
it
son.
would be a hard life, that's for sure.
Like, how did you get this? How did you get this from this?
Also,
What did you do to get this child from you? What is that? Hey man, I see. Yeah, throughout history that's happened. No? Consumption. Immaculate consumption.
the woman would have had to been real pale.
Really, really.
Just real pale.
Somewhere at the bottom of the ocean.
Thank you.
And blind. Alright,
Well, moving on.
No, AJ, it's not Travis's child.
we figured.
All right, so we're gonna run npx tailwind css init -p. I think the -p stands for post CSS. I am not positive. I just know -p is included here.
Uh-oh.
And it should say, yes, yeah, the -p adds that post CSS config. If you don't have the -p, then it will only do the tailwind CSS config. So. Okay. We're done there? Everybody got it? Okay. So, now, if you haven't already, do code space dot. For you guys, you're probably gonna have to run the thing to make code work again. Command not found.
I started a new window.
Yes, that's correct. Unless you were already in the editor for that. For Penny's React.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, then just close the new window.
When I was in Penn Game.
We always seem to get hit.
Yeah.
Alright, however you want to do it.
They're the ones who don't, they struggle with this, and we don't. They don't struggle with it, so
Yes, your computers remember how to code. Theirs-
their
theirs
bodies remember how to.
don't remember what code is.
Their brains remember how to code, their computers are dumb.
It's muscle memory at this
Computers
point.
are dumb.
Eventually you can watch sports and your fingers just go.
Yeah. That's
And you
what
turn
I'm
it in.
Makes sense, but-
Then you turn it in, your boss is like, "You're fired."
Without a
So-
second guess. Huh?
Perfect. All right, so let's see. Now we want to do. Oh, we're gonna open up. We should have this essentially, right? So we're gonna open up the Tailwind config, which looks like this. And because I don't know this off the top of my head, I'm gonna go find it. I have it in here somewhere. There it is. So the only thing that's changed is this line. In the content, add that line. So, and we don't actually need this TSX thing, but you can add it if you want to. Just says that we're using, the content will be any of the JS, JSX, TS, or TSX files within source. So for this project, we will only be doing JS, so you could just do .js, but this will work in any project you work in React. And then once you have that, Tailwind CSS is now set up. Oh wait, no, there's one more thing. My bad. We'll get to that in a second. And then Tailwind CSS will be set up.
Why do you love colorful brackets?
They're
It's nice.
pretty.
And they like change colors.
What is wrong with your brackets? What color is your
There's
brackets?
no color, they're just.
They're just white? Oh, that's terrible. So you can't change that?
You're using my thing, right?
Huh?
Oh no, you're on a
No,
different
I'm
thing.
using, oh yeah, I love this one. You see how it pops off?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's orange
That's
and then
amazing.
blue and then that green when it pops
Mm.
off, so I got you, but I can read from a distance.
Yes. Well, that's because of your glasses, but the colors are nice too. You just need to find a different theme.
Yeah, please,
Yeah.
please
I
do.
don't think like colors. I like everything else about it except that.
Mhm.
Yeah. We all need color brackets in the world. It brings the world together like an array.
Yes, just like an array. Everybody got this? Okay, so now we're gonna open index CSS.
Okay.
Ooh,
Can you remind me what the command is to search?
Command P. Okay, we're gonna delete all the things in index CSS. And I don't wanna have to type this again, so I'm gonna find it again.
So
That
erase
one.
Everything out of CSS, I mean, index CSS, everything.
Yep, just this is all that's gonna be in index CSS.
Okay.
So, and then I will show you where this information lives because I don't know it off the top of my head. I just did it today, so it's still on my clipboard.
Nice.
Can you help me with my errand?
Yes.
So when I was supposed to do the code dot, it didn't work and I don't remember what I was supposed to do, so I just, yeah, what was I supposed to do when that didn't work?
you're okay because you're already in the ends.
Okay.
So, well, you can just Control C on that because it looks like you're already running it. So if you're running it, you don't have compilation errors because we have to go fix some stuff because we deleted all those files at the first.
I thought it was
So, yeah, if you try and run it right now, it will break.
I'm mad.
So we have to fix a few things first. Snacks.
That's his name. That's his name, bro.
But he didn't bring any snacks
I
today.
don't care when he's 60 years old, I'm gonna call him Snacks.
I look forward to that day.
Snacks, what's up,
And
man?
I'll be like, I told you I had friends.
My snacks don't snacks anymore, bro. Sorry.
Your voice might be a little older than that. Oh, you have to go. Yeah, there you go. Because when he's, what did you say, 60?
Yeah. I'll be like 80 something.
Yeah.
Snacks. Is that you? Is that you, Snacks?
You'll need new glasses again.
Sorry to hear your voice. Long distance.
All right, Mr. Travis, you're talking in the mirror.
Get you home.
Miss my friend Snacks.
Sure you do.
He's been Jared talking on it.
All right, everybody has this, yeah?
Yep.
All right, so if you want to set this up on your own, if you go to Tailwinds Docs, okay? So you go to Tailwind, just Google Tailwind CSS, or if you remember, tailwindcss.com. Then you hit the Docs page. Installation right up top, okay? This is if you want to install it without just straight install it in any project. Where you would go to Framework Guides to use Create React App. Tailwindcss.com.
That's all?
Yep.
Okay.
Because then you can just go to the Docs
Oh, okay,
tab
gotcha.
up on the right hand side.
I gotta get started.
Okay. And then you would hit this Create React App button if you were doing a different thing like Next or Vite or Vue or Angular or Nuxt or Gatsby or whatever, right? So we're using Create React. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Create React App. Okay. And then it tells you step by step the very things we just did. It even tells you how to start the project with Create React App. Okay. So all the stuff we just did is right there. Except we haven't run start. If you run start, it'll break, but we will do that and then we will break it and fix it. Okay, so that's if you need to set up Tailwind CSS, they have really good documentation on how to install it. Okay, whether that's I want to just install it and run npx and do it on my own thing that's just index.html, or I want to use it with PostCSS, or I want to use it in a framework. It's all very well documented, which is super nice. Also, as you're trying to build stuff in this documentation, if you scroll down in this little sidebar, they have all of their colors and config, layout, if you want to do flexbox and grid stuff. So this, if you go into these, it'll show you all the different classes. So when you're like, oh, how do I add padding? You go find padding. You can do quick search and be like, how do I do display block? And apparently my caps lock is on. Okay, and you can click into this one. It has display in there, and here's all the classes and what they do. So it's awesomely documented, which is nice. And everybody installed the Tailwind extension in VS Code, right? So it'll auto-complete the classes for you, which is also super awesome. Okay, so now that we're installed, if we go back to our code editor and we go into our terminal inside of it and run npm start, it will start up. Mine's going to ask me to run on a different port. Do
Were you?
just in your terminal.
Oh,
And then npm start.
okay.
And then you should see a whole bunch of compilation errors. And it'll complain about the logo and the app CSS and the report web vitals because we've deleted all those, if you remember.
Where'd it go?
So mine means in the browser
Yeah,
to
me
see
too.
it? Is that right?
It'll go to the browser if you come, yeah, and it'll show it.
Oh, there it
It'll
is.
show it there too.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
If you go back to your code editor, your terminal will have it.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to open up index CSS first, or index HTML, sorry. Index.js, my bad. All the indexes. So index.js, we need to remove report web vitals and this crap at the bottom. Okay. So it should just look like this.
What is that one vital thing?
It'll measure performance in your app if you pass a function to it, and it'll log the results to that function. So, and there's like it comes with it, so you can use it in the future if you want. This isn't the
Yeah.
project anymore. Do you have multiple code editors open?
No, I don't.
Sure.
I don't. What did I do?
There it is. I know. Just close this one so it's not there anymore.
No
save. Don't save it.
Oh.
Oh, did you close the wrong one?
You just did. You better know me. Look at that. You just closed the wrong one.
You did. I know you did.
All right, here we go.
Data projects. Pens.
Okay. Now,
There you go.
okay, thank you.
All right.
Now, what are we doing?
Oh, it was open the whole time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the NPM start going.
Exactly.
That's weird.
That is weird. Because I didn't know where it disappeared from.
So you must have had more than that open. We didn't know.
I probably did.
So index.js,
Index.js, okay. Give me a return. All right.
and then get rid of those lines and that line right there,
You said those lines, like these three commented lines, you mean?
and the line at the bottom.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, and then you also need to get rid of the one that just went orange.
Yep.
Okay, and then we're gonna go into app.js and get rid of the two parts at the top, so the two imports. I'm also gonna rename this to be an arrow function because I like them better. And we'll get rid of everything inside of app.
That's in source though, right? App.js?
App.js, yep.
It's supposed to be in source.
Oh, you deleted app.js then?
I don't
Just
know why
have
I
an
didn't.
app test.
Oh, okay.
So go to app test and then delete everything in there. Actually, here, let me see for a second. This will be easier. I'm gonna say source app test.
Yes.
Get checkout source
What is it? Check.
app.js. And oop, we're gonna exit. And then go here
Okay, there we go.
and then do what we just did.
Which is?
Get rid of the two imports and everything inside of the first div, and then get rid of the class name app.
Everything inside the So you pretty much erase everything though,
Yeah, everything inside of the div.
except for export. Okay. Everything
So
inside the
you want to
div.
keep that div that's class name app? No, don't delete the div.
Oh, okay.
Just
Oh, you said
the
keep
header
everything
div.
in the div. Yeah, I mean.
Keep the div,
Okay.
delete everything inside of it.
Oh, okay.
You need the class name though. Otherwise you'll have compilation errors.
Gotcha. All the way down here, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab the HTML for my pennies, which you all don't have. But I just want to show you. I'm going to throw that in here, and look, it works. I can even click these buttons that they look awful because Tailwind CSS rips everything off of it because I don't have any classes on it that are Tailwind classes.
Did you
So-
change- I'm sorry, did you change the class name?
Yes,
So no apps?
no app. Okay, so we need to turn all of this into React components, right? So the first thing I want to do is I want to create those components. So I'm going to create a new folder inside of source, and I'm going to call it components, so that I don't have a whole bunch of components in source to make it hard to read what's in there. Okay. Inside components, I prefer to have an index.js inside of there that I can export all of my components out of, so that when I'm importing, I just have a smaller
So
import.
it's just called components, that's it?
Yep, components, and then inside of it, index.js.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to, let's see. What do you think as far as components? Reading this HTML that's up here.
Yeah, instructions, pennies, and buttons.
Okay, so 4 components. So instructions, the pennies or pieces, buttons, and then feedback. Okay, so I'm gonna call them instructions.js, pieces, oh, capital, make sure you do capital, .js. Really the the files don't have to be capitalized, but it's just easier if the name of the, yeah, best practice. I'm gonna not call it buttons, I'm gonna call it user actions. And then I'm also gonna call the feedback.js.
I don't know, I can't open it. I'm having a struggle just opening up the file under components, I don't know why.
That is because this is a file instead of a folder.
Okay. Gotcha.
You can just go click the folder button too,
Oh, okay.
once you have source highlighted.
Yeah, so it's a folder, yeah?
Yeah,
in the
folder.
Okay.
And then I'm going to create one more that's called button.js, because I know I'm going to have multiple buttons and I don't want to have to copy paste the classes from each of the buttons. I just want to create one button. Okay, so make this a little wider for you, Travis. So I got components and then all of these inside of components,
Okay.
which are all files.
Gotcha. Very chemical.
Okay, and inside of each of these, you're going to need something that has like a React component, right? Which is just a function. So create a function that's named the same as the file for each of these files, and then export it. So, and you can just do export const. And we'll just do named exports instead of default exports for this. Okay. So this will be button equals, and then that's going to be this arrow function. So
So we don't need to export default?
nope, because we export const. So it'll just be a named export, and I'll show you how to import those. Okay, for the button, I'm just going to give all the props to it. In fact, just do this. Well, I'll change that in a second. But for the other ones, what I like to do when I just create these is I'll do feedback, or let's see, export const feedback equals, and then I'll just export a div, and inside of it I'll write the name of the component. So just do that with all of them. Uh-huh. So, and what I'll do is I'll just select it all and copy it and go to the next one and change. Right? This way I can get everything set up, all the boilerplate stuffs. Okay?
So you just, in the div, you type
Just-
feedback.
Yeah, just type whatever the name of the component is. So, and I'm
And
just
that's
gonna,
for all of them,
yeah.
the button, all of them, okay.
So, once you have that, then we will go to index.js and we'll export all of them out of index.js, and I'll show you why that makes it nicer. But to do that, we would do export and then the name. So from button. So index.js inside of your components. There should be a, so here's my components, index.js.
Thanks for saving me.
Yeah, don't delete your index.js. It won't run after that. So feedback, instructions, pieces, user actions. Okay, so your index.js inside of components will look like this.
Using that command D
Yes.
So we're not doing the props and the button, we're just doing the div?
I did the button one the way that I had it with the button. And I'll go back, we'll go back into each of these. So if you did a div in the button, that's fine too.
Sweet, I was there during the day. I heard some fire dancing during the day. Their voices. We were just swaying. And they kept having ties in the soul. So the poor girls had to coming out and they're wearing their dresses.
Christian, your face looks so annoyed. That might become something too. This might become an emoji eventually too.
Yeah, that's a good.
You know, if you go through there, you'll find probably plenty.
Yeah. It's the mean
Sorry if I
cereal.
swore in that, I don't remember.
Roadwork starts in half an hour.
Seriously? Start at 8?
Yeah, that's not
Why are they doing that?
I'm a little bit nervous because are they doing the road just past Tree Tunnel at night too?
I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all,
Well, on the highway they're doing something. Today they were,
but, oh, okay.
and it but tomorrow is when it like full starts, from what I understand, for like a month. They're doing something because you can't turn left at Tree Tunnel for the next
yeah.
month.
So you have to go down to the next row,
Yeah,
which is okay for you because you live.
I live right next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The next row.
I live close to Romeo anyway.
Because I used to have to work at Clo Landing, you have to have all the way down.
Yeah, that was crazy when they were saying.
You can turn right out of Tree Tunnel though. You just can't turn left.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
So they're
I used to hate
doing
to go
something
through tree tunnels at night. I would get a flat tire at least every 3 or 4 weeks.
through Tree
Because
Tunnel.
of the potholes.
Oh yeah,
So
before they redid it.
Terrible potholes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
damaged my car. You
Yeah.
know, and I'm like trying to get them to pay for it. I just didn't follow through. But I heard they were paying for people who got flat tires on tree tunnel road because it was that bad.
Hmm.
It's terrible. Or you run over a pig, one or the other.
You would hurt a pig? How dare you?
I don't know, I'm terrible. You pick it up off the road and eat it. You hear me? Take that home and eat it.
I heard that you're not supposed to bring pork.
No, you're not. She'll be in the waiting facility at the other side.
All right, everybody here? We good?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay, so now we can close index.js in the components and not ever look at it again unless you have an error in it. Then you'll have to go look at it. Okay, so inside of the div in app.js, we're now going to render all of our components we just made. So that in order, we had instructions, and as I type instructions, you will note that instructions is there. If I enter. What? Why did it do that? Should just be able to get rid of that. Should do that.
Instructions, yeah.
Okay. If I save this and go look at my browser, I will see the word instructions there. Okay.
Okay, so
Then the next thing was pieces. Then the next thing was user actions.
pieces of feed.
And the last one was feedback.
User action. And after that, it's got the feedback.
And because it will be annoying if I don't, I'm gonna add
I
a
didn't hear it out because of buttons, the prompts. Use button.
button. What?
Button rock.
You don't need to do button.
Well, I'm still like, the React app isn't pulling it up.
Yeah, mine too.
What do you have in button?
I have,
Is it this?
oh, I don't have dot.
Oh, okay, so you said that's
And I'm not passing.
Buttons JS?
There we go.
Oh.
You're fine. That's fine.
That's fine.
You can fix it after.
Okay.
Because we're going to come back to button. So if yours was just a div that said button, that works too.
Okay.
Now I'm getting that pieces, user actions, and feedback.
Oh, it's a button though, not buttons.
Did you hit tab so it threw these imports at the top?
Oh.
Yes. You must. That is necessary. I'm also going to just hurry and add a... crap. What next?
Hi, it's successful.
Yeah, mine is.
It's user actions. Hold on.
Oh,
That's
what did I miss? I missed.
the user. Why is my user actions in white?
Okay.
This is what I have.
This is annoying. Oh, it's only 76. I'm going to go with 60. Come on. Format. Dash.
So it's like team 1 beat team 2.
Yeah.
Team-
Team one will always be two.
Team two's the worst.
I was like, when I came out, like, what? They did something without me? I said because they had an even number? And it was perfect that I wasn't here? I took it all personal. I said, no, that's another thing.
Team one kicked ass.
He did.
Okay. You don't have to do the spacing the same. I just made it so it's only 60 characters before the break, so that it will show up if I have this open, and it won't go off the screen. All right. So app.js looks like this. Yes. You have all the imports. You have. If you go look at your app, it should say instructions, pieces, user actions, and feedback.
So what does your FPS look like again?
Why?
Well,
So this is what you did? Oh,
Yeah, you have the same.
components.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine just
You just look pretty.
well.
I'm not.
Oh, we're not importing a button.
No, we'll do the button and user actions.
Give me this save. What is
What?
that? Now it's squiggly red.
No, hover over it. Also, yeah, hover over it. Identify your user action has already been declared. Oh, you already have it declared right there.
Oh, no, what's the fourth one? Oh,
Cre-
it's
instructions.
There we go. Doesn't matter then. Order, yeah? Okay.
No, it doesn't matter order.
Okay, there we go.
In fact, I didn't type any of those. It just did it for me. So, is it? It's not compiling successfully. Yeah, you can do it that way or do it the way I did it, where it's out of components. That was the reason we created that index.js. Go all the way over. Okay, that should be fine. Go back over to. Oh, but you don't have anything in instructions. So you need to return a div that says instructions in order to see that. So here I'll open up one of the components.
What is it under? It's under,
Right, so this is what each of my components has a div inside of it that has its name, and that's why it says all of the names of the components. So if you don't have compilation errors, but you didn't do that, then you would have just a blank screen.
button, feedback, index. So what's going on with this anyway? What is that like? Nothing wrong there.
Hover over it. Should be
That should
fine.
be fine, okay. It just doesn't, why not?
Yeah, that's why, because you're not exporting that user actions.
Yep.
Yours working, Sandy? Whereas user action is not matter components. So go to your index.js inside components. I'm assuming you know it. How long you got yours? Because you have curly braces. So you need to either remove those or say return. Boom. Yours working? Yours working? Sweet. Reese's is working.
So what under? Which one?
What? You shouldn't be,
You should
no,
have that,
no, you need to run npm start.
yeah? Okay.
We won't use live server at all, so
Oh,
you can
okay.
just turn off the live server. We already ran npm start, right?
Yeah.
So turn off live server.
Here?
Yep. And then go back to your browser. And close this. And go to that one that says React app. And then refresh it. Okay, go back in because you've got something in instructions that's having an issue.
Alright, so. It was something I didn't do. I remember there was something I missed, I think.
So go to your instructions component. Wait, well, you have, it's lowercase. Can you change
Ah.
that from lowercase to uppercase?
This one here, yeah?
Yeah. And then go back to your browser.
There you go.
There it is. All right.
Something simple like that, huh?
Yep. Okay, so now we're going to create each of these components so they no longer say the instructions. First, we're going to make the app kind of centered and so it's like here instead of up in the corner like the other one was. I don't really like this, right? Still going to be super ugly. I'm super excited. Okay, so in our app.js, in the class name, we're going to add some class names here. And these are all Tailwind class names, so we're going to use flex. This gives us display flex. And then we're going to make it so that it is width screen. So this will use, we'll make it the whole width of the screen and the height of the screen. Okay, and then we're going to justify, center, and align. Oh no, it's items, center. Okay. And I think that's all we need to do for now. Oh, and then we also need, the first time we put this flex call, and that will put them in a column. So now it should look like this when you go look. We'll probably add more to this as we get going. So you just need to add that last one, flex call.
Right here?
Yep.
Oh, it was a flex before, huh? Flex by itself.
What?
Flex.
Well, flex typically goes in a straight line, right?
Right.
So it's a row.
Right.
The column makes it stack.
Got you.
So I'm going to do this thing, or I'm going to do that thing. Okay. So everybody got that?
It's not working for me.
Not working? What is it doing?
Nothing.
Go to your index CSS. I'll get rid of all the stuff on it. Go to your Tailwind config. Add a dot after that star. Then you may need to restart.
Just nothing.
Control C. And then just hit out and then enter. So let's inspect here. And inspect like just the, yeah, that one right there. Just go into root. And then go to that div that has all those classes on it. Click on it. Right, so it's not getting the intel stuff. So get back to your editor. Make this large as well. And let's look at your package, Jason. Go to scroll down so we can see the blended dependencies. Publish expert post CSS, tell us CSS. Okay. Go to index.js. Okay, index CSS, and then go back to index CSS again. Let's go over to the Talon files. In the browser. And then go up to the top of this page and hit that framework guides. And go to the creator tab. Okay, we did that, we did this. Hit the start button. And then go back to the Talon config. No, the Talon config file. And just select all of it. Paste. No, we wanted to paste what we had copied. Go back to your browser. You get copy buttons. Just paste over the top of it. Save it. And go back. Let's go down. Copy this one. And go to your index CSS and paste over the top. I think these are identical, but just in case we're missing something. And go look at your React app. So go back to your code and stop the server and restart it. Just to make sure. So Control C. And up.
I can see stars now. As soon as I got him, I was like, looked up.
Canon or no Canon?
Huh?
Canon or no Canon?
Canon, okay?
Exactly, just.
Okay, yes, of course. Oh, okay, yeah.
That's not close.
Ooh. What is that?
It's a chocolate chip cookie spam musubi.
Oh, stop. Stop. I'm not eating anything else tonight. After seeing that, I'm not eating
Why
anything.
did you do that?
Why would someone do that?
God, salty and sweet, that's why. God,
Yeah,
some people have a
salty
salty
and
and
sweet,
sweet
exactly.
craze.
Spam salty?
I know. I have an issue with that whole Kentucky Fried Chicken thing with the waffles, so that, oh God.
That is diarrhea in a cookie.
Yeah, that
Look
is,
at his face.
that is a sore
Because he's
spot.
vegetarian, that's like vegetarian's nightmare. So much like torture. They don't torture you like pull your eyelids, but they're like, no, spam and chocolate chip cookie.
I don't want this
Please, please, I'll take
That
care of
one
it.
dude that's like missing his fingernails and
Yeah,
like some
you're like,
teeth and stuff.
you're like, whatever. Do your worst, do your worst, do your best. And you're like, spam, spam chocolate chip cookie. No, you win, you win.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's all I fed my dogs while they were gone. It's so easy. Just cut up a can of spam and throw it in the dog thing and leave. They loved it.
Very
They, oh my God, I've spoiled the hell out of my dogs though. I go buy a whole rotisserie chicken and just dump it in there without the bone. Of course, I debone everything, just throw it in the dog bone. They just go crazy.
Yeah, oh my God, we were very happy at your house.
Yeah, well, I can't do it anymore now. We lost our snap.
You were right.
There's no more snap. Yeah, they,
After like some of those COVID boost benefits.
yeah. I thought, oh yeah, we can get that again. And they said nope.
Mm.
Like, I think they looked at our numbers. They just decide like whatever number you put for income, they just say, oh, you're over. So it depends on how much income you get. If you say you made 3,000, say, oh, you're 1,000 over. It's supposed to be 2,000. And if you made 4,000, no, 3,000. We deny. So it's like that. It's never. You always make too much for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, bro, don't you know the price of rent and gas? And you're saying we don't. It's so
That's the
dumb.
thing, is that line is moving with the prices.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how do you try to say that I'm supposed to make 3,900 a month? Like where? Wherever? How can I live here with that?
Not with the family.
And with 625 kids, I mean, come on. So, sorry, guys. We'll just find another way.
What did I do?
There was an extra felon config in here in the source, but I got rid of that. Just gonna stop and start over again. We can do is if you change all the
You want
values.
more like from me?
That's why I chose another school.
When? Saturday? Or is this one day
I'm
of
trying to go as much as I possibly can. I probably I can try to go tomorrow.
No, this is changing, but
It's Saturday then.
I'll check my eyes.
let's try this. Create it from scratch and see what happens.
When it tells me that I can't go back to code, or I can't, when everybody else did it, what am I supposed to do again?
Well,
No,
so that didn't
doesn't
matter, cause
matter.
you're in your project,
Right.
so, And I can see the class name changing. So it should be working unless we're overlooking something. We get to another instance of it. Just wanna make sure we're running.
You should come meet the cat. And then, because it is a heartwarming little kitten.
I know.
It like will melt you.
He's like, I don't know, I'm not here anymore.
Cats, you do not need to be here.
Keep it
You just
in the
need to
outdoor.
be
I don't know what's different.
Well, it feeds stuff and it can go outside.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Let's see if we,
He doesn't, he's like, well,
You know what, he's probably traumatized.
He is.
He doesn't wanna.
he's still very grieving over the loss.
Well, if you're trying to talk him into it, maybe I could use some help watching it over the weekend.
Except I'm not gonna be there this weekend, I got the election, I got my auntie's funeral, thank God.
Sorry.
That's what I'm on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, it's like
That's
all day.
before you
we're
can-
broken again.
He works till then.
No! Alright. This ploy is fine. Hey, it works.
We're fine.
You got it?
So it must have just been something like when it installed, it didn't
You
install
want to come
correctly.
meet the kitten?
No.
Are you
So,
sure?
Even though
Because it
I
happens.
need
Your house is big enough to have a
I know it is.
You love this kitten.
I know we would.
And this kitten's getting along with my two cats. We get along
So
with
let it free into the land.
It's the
Let it become one with the land. You'll come back and bring fruits or something.
Have you done all, did you post it on Facebook?
Not yet. We were just gonna take it to the Humane Society.
Post it on Facebook.
Yeah. those
That's
are-
annoying.
Somebody
Okay,
take it.
so
He looks so much like my old cat.
What color is the cat?
Doesn't he look just like
What color is the cat?
He looks just like that.
What color is the cat?
Orange.
Oh,
Orange.
it's a girl then. Is it a girl or boy? Well, no.
Doesn't he look just like now?
Let me see, big guy. Let me see. Let me see Knuckle and cat.
One second.
Okay.
He's a baby.
I know, he's a baby.
Let me see that.
Max needs some bread.
Oh, that is the
Max
cutest
and
little
Maria, I'm
stretch.
pretty sure
Yeah.
are fighting at night.
Really?
I'm
Oh
pretty sure,
no.
like.
Go to the
almost
next
every
photo.
night now.
Do you hear about that?
Yeah.
we took quite a few of the cats.
That's one female cat there.
The big one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tiny. She's being very maternal right now.
How many weeks do you think she is?
The baby?
Yeah.
I think, well, the eyes are open, so I think that's already a couple weeks old.
Oh yeah, that cat looks
That cat's like,
At least
I'm
like
going
a-
somewhere where they have
maybe
food.
a month old.
And another cat, because I knew I could get
That's
food.
really tiny.
Yeah, something's
Yeah,
up with
it's-
this one.
Is she a calico?
Yeah.
Yep, that's a
Oh
girl.
my freaking god, he's so cute.
Like, fell asleep right in front of our kitchen in, like, the hallway, because we kept walking there, so it's like trying to hang out with us, and just lay down.
It's like,
He's so sleepy.
let me look at you guys.
It's so cute.
Cats know how to turn on the charm so somebody will keep.
This one,
Yeah,
it
they do.
really does.
Well, that's all
What's that?
for kittens and
Yeah,
puppies, right?
It really
Make
does.
sure they're super cute.
Those are the good ones.
Yeah.
They know what
They're
they're
just
doing.
so vulnerable.
That's nature's
I
way
feel
of
like now.
Look at them all.
And then the
So I
little,
can't take
and
them
then
off.
the cat will do extra little shake of the arm, like for the weakest one. Look at my arm, really support.
Well, it's like, I'll be like working outside, and it'll come up and like nuzzle right
Yeah,
here on the chair next to me, and she'll be like,
The kitten.
Yeah,
Look at him.
so I like-
He doesn't have his mouth.
so it just sleeps in all
our
our
cat,
Does he sound
our
cold?
cat, yeah, our cat did that when we first got it. That so it made me feel really
Just
bad.
your finger.
but like,
Our ninja cat, he would,
Well, we used to do
all
that,
my
but he
kids
doesn't
would try to
anymore.
breastfeed our kids. Breastfeed all my kids. Made us sad. Cause he did, the first few months he did, all the kids he was suckling. Poor guy, I felt bad. Cause that lets you know that he had them all, you know? Sucks.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
big
Some
arm.
have them down
Missed
here,
his
so
mall.
I don't know what it was, but yeah, once I redid the install, then it works.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if one of the config files name was wrong, maybe?
We just changed that one line, right? In the, when we first did it.
In the app.js or what?
Remember?
Oh,
One with the stars.
I'm wondering if the, yeah, I don't know what could have gone wrong, cause we didn't create those files, they auto-generated. So, the one with the stars, yeah, we just changed that one line. But yeah, we tried copying and pasting over the top of it, it still didn't work, so it's almost like when you did your install, it was corrupted or something. So, should be fine. Alright,
Thank you, sorry.
yeah, anybody need a break for a minute? Are we good? Okay.
We had a break actually, so.
Okay,
Hey.
Okay, guys.
deal.
Oh, yeah, look at that. We got a stack of them.
Yeah, there's a really big group in here.
Yeah, I can see that, they had
Big
things
party.
and all
Really staying. Oh, but I don't know if you guys, but there's a dishwasher, so instead of putting dishes in the.
that. Yeah, I'll put them in the dishwasher.
Yeah, they put a dishwasher.
Yeah, exactly.
Good, awesome, thank
You
you.
do that.
That's all.
Yeah.
Team 2 probably didn't do it. They're the worst. Team 2.
Team 2 and Team 1.
Team 2.
Yeah, you can blame team 1 and team 2.
You know the rules.
Team 2 was putting all their dishes in the
This is team
sink.
two?
They're poor.
No,
this is team one. Oh.
We're team 1.
So I get to do the chicken scratching then.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, so well, let's open up the instructions component then, and we will build that one out because that one's pretty much just text.
Instruction.
Okay? We'll add some classes on it, but we're gonna in here create an H1 and it's gonna say 23 pennies, and then it'll have a span that has the rules, which I'll have to copy paste, and you'll all have to type like suckers. Okay, and then we'll throw some class names on there. Figure all these out while you're all figuring out how to do the other thing. So let's see, background color is going to be orange, I think. It's like a No, darker. No, it was lighter. Yeah, that one. Border 2. Four.
Takes last. Loses. Last penny.
Let's see. What else do we want on here? Padding. Let's go. So when you're using these, one thing to know is like padding and margin. Most things are in multiples of 4. So P-5 is 20 pixels because it's 5 times 4. Okay. We'll just say we'll do that for now. That should be fine. If I put this down here, can you see both? Almost.
What's rounded as
Rounded small, and that is, it makes the border radius. In fact, we'll go medium.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that it made a difference.
Yeah. So it's border radius. I think it's small is 2 pixels is all. Medium is maybe 4, 6 pixels. Yes. It's gonna be so ugly. Okay. Everybody got all those?
Oh, so that's
No,
in
not
the.
yet.
Okay, I'm supposed to be parentheses?
Oops. Wrong one.
So it's supposed to be in parentheses, right, that, the class name,
Uh,
yeah.
when you say that it should do the parentheses.
Oh, really? Well, let's see, maybe, yeah, it did.
Okay, and then H1 we're gonna make text large maybe, and then we'll do font semi-bold and text center. We're gonna go larger than that, like 2XL maybe. Yeah. Could even go 3XL. Boom. Then you can really read it. It really pops. Just really, really nice. 3XL. 23 of them. Yeah. You can make it bigger.
6XL? Oh, wow. So we can go
Alright, so let's see, class name here, we will make it text large, text center, which I don't think will work because this is a span, so we need to say block. And then let's do width 2/3. And then margin auto. And then sweet. Problem would be, oh, it's good, it's good, it's good. This beats right in CSS, right?
This is React.js, right?
Yes, but the class name stuff is Tailwind CSS.
Oh, this is Tailwind?
The classes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Class name, all that stuff is,
Class name is React, but the actual class names are Tailwind.
oh, okay.
And then they apply all this CSS that's happening. So just having React won't do this. It's because
You
we're
have to
using
have
Tailwind.
Because like I said, I mean, once I learn how to do this, this will probably be my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Then you can put it all, integrate it all into one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Everybody got this?
Let me
Yeah?
see. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And go back to app.js. And on the div, I'm going to add some margin because this goes right up against the side. So I'm going to do margin 5. Actually, I'm going to do padding because that way it won't overflow. And that just gives me a little bit of off the sides. So it's not right up against it on smaller screens. Okay. Now we're going to open up pieces. Okay. And pieces is going to be, so if we look here, it's these pennies. Okay. So we're going to make this right here. So first we're going to do a class name here. And we're going to do background is orange 200, I think is what we used. Okay. And then I'm going to add some padding because I don't like that it's right up against the edges. So I'm going to do padding, that's 20 pixels, let's go 40 pixels. P-10, 40 pixels. And then I want to add some pennies. So I am going to accept an amount of pennies here as a prop. Okay, and I'm going to destructure my props right there. And now, and I'm not passing pennies in, so I'm going to go back to app.js and pass in the pennies. And for now, I'm just going to hard code it to 23. Okay. This is app.js.
And you put them into pieces.
It's just like an attribute,
Oh, okay.
but we named the attribute whatever we wanted. And then that will be what we accept in the React component. Okay, so we get pennies here, and what we're going to do is we're going to loop through the pennies. Well, pennies is just a number, so this is going to be funsies. We're going to create an array, and in the array, we're going to create another array, and we're going to give it our number for the length. Notice we can just say array and give it a length. So it's going to be pennies, which is our number, but we're going to destructure that array into this array. And we're doing that so that we can map this, because you can't map off of here, right? And map it here instead. Okay? So I'm going to say penny and index. And then this will be those. And this will just be a div, which is our penny. And the div is going to be a class name. Okay, so background color is going to be, we'll say amber. We'll go with 800. We're going to say rounded full width 20, height 20. Oh, haha, 5. Okay, I'm gonna make this thing flex. Let's make these a little bigger. We'll go 10 and 10. And then we'll say flex wrap.
It has only 23 and 24.
What?
It's sad that it's not
Why?
because there's the entrance.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. So we're gonna make the gap 8 pixels. And we're gonna do align. No, justify. Justify. Center. There you go. Now you'll never know. Looks so much better. All right.
What was in the app.js you
Just this. I just added this guy. Oh, the pennies.
No, pennies, pieces of pennies, yeah. Oh, hold on. That's not right now.
Well, you just have to go add these
Oh, okay, gotcha.
in the class name here.
Oh,
You're missing flex.
okay. First flex?
Yeah, flex and then flex wrap.
Gotcha. Gotta be flexing all the time. Gotcha.
Flex wrap.
There we go.
You do have flex wrap. Oh, is it because mine's small?
It's 'cause you-
Aha. So
Yeah, that's what it is.
let's do this. Go to app.js and we're gonna do max width, and then we'll do like that one.
How are you getting it to show the values on the list?
So if it's not showing up, then you can do control space, and it'll pull up that way.
How much on that video? Is it something?
Sometimes they don't show up on mine either.
Oh, okay.
Still nothings. It's probably just because the instructions aren't long enough. So let's just do it as medium, maybe? Small. Okay, and then we need margin auto. Okay, so max width, screen small, margin auto will now make it so that it doesn't overflow. Okay, so added that to app.js. M-auto is margin auto.
No,
That'll
max.
make it
It's margin auto?
margin auto, yep.
Okay.
So
Can I see the pieces?
pieces. The other thing I'm gonna change the instructions in a second.
Auburn?
said they were tired.
Oh, military, oh yeah, that's good. Had that before.
It's weird that it's contrast.
I didn't think
Very minimal red shot.
mm-hmm. And most of this tastes like sweet.
Yeah, so we've got background orange, and this is 200, which it goes 100 to 900. 100 is the lightest, 900 is the darkest. Might actually start at 50, or go in increments of 50s. P is padding. So, and if you hover over, I think it should show you this, right? And then, like I said, it's increments of 4. Okay. Flex does display flex. Flex wrap does flex wrap wrap. Gap 2 is 8 pixels gap. And then justify center is justify content center. Okay. And then this one is using the amber background color. Rounded full is going to add border radius at apparently almost 10,000 pixels, right? So it could be 100% if you wanted. This is width and height. And then just the number at the end gives you the times 4.
The P after the map?
Oh,
Right
here?
there in the red.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing here is we're creating an array based on the number of pennies passed in. And then we're destructuring it into an array. And then we're mapping that array. The P here is just a placeholder because we need the index, because we're going to throw that here as the key, because the P is nothing.
So just.
It's going to be like a blank string, or maybe undefined, but it'll be 23 of them. And that, we don't care what it is, we just need it to be something so that we can map through and give this back. Okay, so, and then we're taking this index and putting it as the key so that React isn't mad at us. Okay?
So placeholder and the number.
Yeah, so this is just a placeholder so we can get the index, because the index is the second thing
And
passed in.
and over time, I should just automatically remember to put a placeholder. It's just. Like
Most of the time you're going to use this.
Okay.
In this case, we won't, just because it doesn't matter what it was. We're
Gotcha.
just trying to get 23 pennies to show up.
Okay.
Okay, so this project is a little bit different in the map because of that. But like when we did our last project, and you'll see it in the YouTube video,
Yeah.
when we did the map, we used that piece that was coming through, right? Usually this data is going to be actual data we care about, like on your to-dos. You're going to map through all your to-dos, and you're going to need the information there for each to-do. Okay? All right. You got it, Shrees? Okay, going back to instructions, I'm going to take the border bottom, or the rounding off the border at the bottom. So rounded, bottom, none. And that's because it made it look weird to have it jut up against the other thing. So now,
The order that you type in
no,
these now?
not unless you're overriding one with another one. But if you are, I don't know if it gets mad at you. Let's see. Yeah, see, it'll be like,
Yeah, you're wrong.
yeah, you have a conflict here. So yeah, it shouldn't matter. But that looks nicer than having it rounded, because then it had like this weird look to it, where it felt like it was broken. So just for aesthetics, and maybe make the border like way bigger. Yeah. I like that.
Leave it at
That's
8.
nice. Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, fun thing with Tailwind is you can just kind of play with it and make it look cool or ugly,
Whatever.
whichever your heart desires. All right. So, user actions is where we're at now. Everybody's caught up, yeah? All right. Now we're going to add some buttons. Okay. So, we're going to add a button. And as I type button, notice I will see the /button come up. If I hit tab or enter on that, it will import it for me. Okay, everybody see that? And I type button. See, yours has it.
Mm-hmm.
Hit enter or tab, and it will import it automatically.
Oh, okay.
Super handy if you remember to do it. If you don't remember to do it, Control Space will pull it back up for you. Okay. Actually, we want to do this. Okay. And what does this button? Take 1 penny. So we're going to have one that says take 1 penny, and then we'll copy this down. And then we're going to say take 2 and take 3. Okay, and we'll fix the button looks in a second. Yep, those should say pennies. Good call.
Good.
And then let's fix the button first before we add classes to the div. So once everybody's there, we'll jump in the penny or the button component. Okay, and we're going to destructure this, and we're going to say class name in case you pass the class name in, and then the rest of the props. Okay, and everybody got this one, so I can, yeah,
I hope so.
okay, we're going to go back in a minute anyway. Okay, so we're going to destructure class name out of the props passed in, and then say whatever else is passed here, just accept it. Okay, and this will create an array. Remember, that's how the ellipses works here.
Are we in button?
Yes, button.js.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're going to create a button, and we're going to destructure, or we're going to pass all of these in here. And remember, this will create, for anything passed in, it will automatically create a attribute for it and pass the value as that attribute. Okay, and we'll see that in a second when we add on clicks to these buttons. It'll automatically work because it's just passed through magically with that props thing. But we're pulling class name out because we're going to add our own class name, and we don't want to override if somebody else passes a class name. So we want to accept their class name but also have our own. Okay?
So you're eliminating div?
Yeah, there shouldn't be a div, it'll just be a button.
Just be button, okay.
And it's a self-close because we're not going to put anything in it.
Okay.
The children will also be passed through here, so it'll automatically accept those children's as well, which you can see it already was doing. So it already said take 1 penny here. Okay, so we're going to add class name now, and we're going to say, so I'm going to do curly braces here and then do a back tick string, and we're going to accept, well, first we're going to put our classes in, and then we'll accept class name after. So if you pass class name in, it'll override any class names we have on here. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to do background is, well, it was ugly, right? It was like this same colors. Yeah, super ugly. Let's do orange 600. Nope, that's not ugly enough. 800. Yes. And then color, or text white, that's right. And then we wanna do rounded, medium, and we'll add some padding. We're gonna make it bigger padding side to side and smaller padding top to bottom, so PY is top and bottom, right? We'll do 8 pixels there, and we'll do 20 pixels on the sides. So PY2 is 8 pixels, PX5 is 20 pixels. Save that. And then at the end here, we're gonna say and class name. Okay, so that allows whatever's passed in from the user to also be added and should override anything that's default on here. So all right, everybody got this?
Yeah, but then my app disappeared.
Your app broke it? Mine works.
Good.
Works on my box.
Yeah.
Do you have everything corrected?
I'm looking. Shantor.
You shouldn't need to refresh it, should just work.
What's he doing on his own?
Oh,
Oh,
it's broken.
I broke all those buttons I kept pressing.
No.
Wait.
Go back to your code. I can't see anything there.
Yeah,
That
there's
would
nothing
be a
there.
problem. Go to the user actions.
Because it's not no button.
No, it
That
should be
okay.
right. Go back to your browser. So
Good.
try- Go back to your code editor. Open up your console. So, I mean, you could try closing it and reopening it. See, sorry, the console. Open up your console.
So it's not terminal.
Control C. That's
Oh,
command.
Command C.
And then push up and hit enter.
What's between this? 'Cause I haven't. Everything except for this. I have the
Let's see if it works or not.
You mean reload?
Well, it's trying to reload right now. Hit kill or exit.
Right here.
Yep. And then hit refresh. Right.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know what was wrong with it, but it was stuck in
Maybe
something.
because I kept pressing too many buttons.
Alright. You're still broken?
And it didn't like me being an idiot with pressing buttons, so. I'm broken, how I found.
Open up your console. Okay, that's successful. Okay, we'll close that. Looks correct. Go to your user actions. Also looks correct. Go back to your browser. Refresh. Now open up the term or the console here. And that's not refreshing. Yours is like doing what Travis is just did. Just give it a second and hit exit. And then hit reload. Something's wrong with your width still.
You have buttons.
Go back, yes.
Good stretch.
Small. There we go. Alright.
too on the line.
I just told them my button, so.
Yeah, so yours is gonna pop up and also say something's wrong with the page, and you have to
Oh,
kill
so
it.
it's pretty much, everybody's
Oh, I see.
except for insanity.
Okay, exit, and hit
The other one
reload.
is not having a crash. Moment.
And, oh, this needs to be a lowercase button.
Right? So they have hot chocolate ones?
So what's happening is you're in
Yeah.
like this eternal
That's
loop
really
of it
cool.
trying to use itself.
This would be good. Christmas time, they have like the peppermint ones.
That one's right.
They do.
I should
This
invest.
this
I
one's,
should invest.
so that one was using this component,
Curie.
whereas this
Yeah.
one's using the HTML.
We don't have that for,
Does that make sense?
for the kids, but they have
Yeah,
separate for the kids.
so now refresh it.
Have their own little cup of coffee,
Might
a
pop
cup
up
of
and tell
hot
you that
chocolate.
it needs help again.
I didn't know. So sure they had these for.
Oh, yeah. I've never had one until
That's really great.
that was really
I'm waiting
Milk
for,
chocolate.
I'm waiting for winter. I'm waiting.
Would destroy you.
3 more months. But I can have that, because I'm a Polar Express person, so I have to have hot cocoa when the Christmas
Wait, is
holiday.
it the west that gets melted by water or the east that gets melted by water?
Which of the?
West, the east one gets
Crushed
crushed.
by the house.
I mean, that's at least a decent one. It's not like splash with water.
Splash with acid.
Yeah.
I don't want to dissolve.
Acid water.
Fake, fake, fake.
All right, so let's I want everybody to see this because this is what was happening with theirs.
Okay.
So I am creating my own button component that I'm calling button with a capital B. But this button component is rendering an HTML button,
Yeah.
which is lowercase b.
Yep.
Remember, lowercase is anything that's actually HTML.
That's already there.
Uppercase is my component.
Your component, yep.
Okay, so if I was to change this to an uppercase B, then what's happening is now it's trying to render my button component by rendering my button component, which would try and render my button component by rendering my button
So that's what
component.
happened.
So it just goes back and forth and back and forth, and it's in this eternal
See,
loop.
that's what happened because I had a big B and I changed it to a small
Yes.
B, but it was too
And
late.
I'm assuming you had the same problem at some point.
Yeah.
You probably had a big
Yeah,
B
I went-
and saved it and then
Big B
changed
was-
it immediately, but your browser was stuck in that eternal loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
I changed it too late. I didn't see it right away.
So, when we use our component in the user actions, we're using the uppercase B because this is our component.
Exactly.
If we don't use that, then we're using an HTML button and it won't render what we wanted it to. Okay?
Yep.
That's confusing.
It is
It is.
confusing.
Yeah, it is.
You can change its name to My Button or BTN or
My butt.
App Button, but you'll get to the point where you think that I hate having to type all the extra letters, and so you'll just end up calling it Big B Button.
Big B button.
Okay?
Such a mouthful.
It
It
is.
is.
Button.
I used to be manager for Big B drugs. So.
Okay.
Big B drugs.
So now we're gonna make these buttons a little bit further apart by changing the div here in the user actions. Class name is gonna be flex, and then we're gonna say justify between, and we're also gonna give it some padding on the top of we'll go 20 and see how that looks. Why didn't it justify between? Oh, what? Yeah, it should be space between.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a width issue? Should be full width. Yeah. The div is not. Okay, so we want to do width full. Okay. That's really ugly. I love it.
Let's see what I can.
Instead of space between, maybe we'll do space around.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
that's better. I like that better. So pretty.
Space around, right?
Yep. All right, so now we have buttons. They don't do anything. We'll come back and make them work later. Let's go to the feedback and just get it rendered correctly as well. Okay, so feedback is just going to be a div that says feedback in it, and we're going to say class name equals trying to remember, we did background orange 200, I think. Okay, width full, padding 20, text center, text large, text extra large. Yes.
Too large? You want that one?
Border 8, border orange 800, rounded medium, rounded top, none, save. So amazing.
Looking fresh there.
Yes.
Are we adding
Is anybody else bugged by the fact that the buttons don't have?
that orange background?
Yeah, but that's how it was here too, so I'm just doing what they told me.
Can we just add?
No, it's gotta be the same. It's gotta be ugly.
But then we have.
It just reminds me of those old books for kids, you know, the learning,
It's what it came from.
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what it came from. It's
That's
from
why it's ugly, because those books were.
JavaScript for Kids, guys. This is a JavaScript for Kids app that we're building. You're currently building something for preschoolers.
Exactly. That's why it's ugly. They want to start the kids off with ugly stuff so they can.
Your parents aren't here, so I'm allowed. All right. Everybody got it? See feedback here? Okay, we're gonna fix this one so it's message that's being passed in, and we're gonna give it a message there. So now there will be nothing there. It'll be super ugly, but we won't ever have to come back to feedback, hopefully ever again. Never again. Forget you.
So what did you put? What did you do?
So we destructured,
Did you erase feedback?
yes,
Okay.
we erased feedback and put message there instead.
Okay.
Okay, if we go back to app.js, then we can add message equals, here is the feedback loop. And see that it renders correctly.
Blaming me for the rest of
Oh, by the way, we do have a dishwasher now.
You mean,
I've never
yeah.
seen a single one of us use a dish.
I used to upset all.
Okay, but I don't have
Put it
a
in the dishwasher. Yeah, I also.
I've never put a dish in the dishwasher here.
Yeah, I do after, this is my coffee cup, because I use it all the time. So. But you can't put dishes in a dishwasher when you have a dishwasher full of clean dishes.
Yes.
You have to wait for the dishwasher to clear it out. That's not my job.
What do you need the classes or the?
No.
Okay, so we just destructure message off of props here and then use it here instead of the feedback. Yes.
Error.
Error.
What's that stuff?
Danger. Will
Danger,
not
you know
outside.
what I'm saying?
What is the error? What does it say? It'll stay saying that because we hard coded that.
Oh, I see.
Wait, where did you do the border top one? Or did you get rid of that? Round
rounded top none.
I just have a pen. That's fine.
What's the error you're seeing?
Error in source components feedback. That's it.
Go back to it.
Should I take out the spaces? If you hover over where the invalid parentheses assignment pattern. Oh,
Oh,
this
okay.
needs to be an arrow. And then take out the word feedback.
Because that's right. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, delete feedback. And then save it. All right. So now we have all of our pieces are rendering correctly. We just need to make them work so that if I click these things, it works on things, right? So we're going to go back to our app.js and write some functions. And then we're going to make that all much better. So first, we're hard coding how many pennies we have. So we're going to use state. Has everybody read the state stuff? We used state a little bit last time. Okay, so we're going to say const pennies and then set pennies. Remember, we're destructuring an array here that's being passed from use state equals use state, and we're going to put 23 here. No suggestions? That's ridiculous. Type it. This is very annoying. Okay, so now we're going to use the pennies here instead of the number 23. We're going to save it. It's going to do absolutely nothing. But if we change this to 2, then we only get 2 there. Oh, and it's super ugly. So we'll have to fix that so it doesn't do that to us. That's dumb. Did you change the pennies and the pieces to the state piece?
So pennies, the first pennies represents like the current,
Get rid of the arrow.
and then set pennies represents.
Or change this to be constant and put an equals.
Oh, there you
It's what?
I'm just trying to figure out what they mean. So the first pennies,
So
does
this
that
is,
represent the original state, and then the second one represents the state after you take away pennies?
So this is the state always.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be the initial state, and then anytime we update the state, this will get updated. And this is the function that updates the state.
Okay.
Okay? So, what we're going to do is we're going to pass into user actions the set, or that we're going to do handle, or let's create, handle take pennies, or maybe we'll just call it take pennies. We'll just call it take pennies equals, and we'll call that take pennies. Okay, and we're going to create a function here called take pennies. I'm going to use arrow function. And we're gonna get a number of pennies to take. And we're gonna say set pennies. Okay, so remember, we can either set it by just saying the number, or we can give it a callback function, which will give us the current amount of pennies, or the current state of this setter function, and then we can manipulate it that way. And we're just returning the number that would be pennies minus the number that was given to us. We'll have to do more logic here to make sure that we don't go beyond our negative pennies, right? Can't have negative pennies, ever. Okay, but if we go to user actions after we have this, once everybody has this, let me know. Yes? Okay, so go to user actions, and we're gonna accept a take pennies. Take pennies function here, okay? And then here we'll say on click equals, and then this will be a inline arrow that calls take pennies and passes it a 1. Okay, and then we'll use that same function for each of these buttons, but just update so that it has the right number. Okay, once you have that, if you click any of these, we should start seeing pennies disappear.
Disappearing.
They disappear really weird though. Looks like it's from each end.
Yeah.
So we'll have to fix that. That's annoying.
Then you can't do your methodology.
Yeah, you could totally still do it, but
So I'm on clicking, okay, so I'm doing it for each one. Okay.
I guess you have 5.
yeah.
So
Oh, those would be just 3 of
you
those.
want it to be the one that goes the last one?
You want it to give it, yeah, you want it to give you the one that takes the last one. But you want to get it to so that you give it 5.
Yeah, and then you can say like 1,
Yeah.
and then it will do 2 or 3.
Well, so if it has 5 to choose from, then it can do any of the numbers, and you can then, it'll still at least have 2 left,
Yeah.
and then you can do any of, yeah.
Mine says the new state is not defined.
Yeah, you have to import it from React, which was up here. In your app.js. For some reason, it didn't import it automatically for me, which was annoying and sad.
I felt sad.
I definitely felt sad.
Did you make a cookie or something?
It's good.
So if we go to pieces, we can fix the dumb stuff, I guess. So let's just take off justify center. So it's like that, and then we'll do width full and margin auto. Oh, that's real. What the? Margin X auto? There, that fixed it.
Where'd you go?
Pieces. So we took off justify center,
Yeah.
And then we did width full and MX auto.
If you go negative, it just disappears.
It's broken. Yeah, that's because you probably can't create an array of negative items. And so it's crashing it.
It's gone.
Is there something wrong with my use data?
Is yours-
Yeah, you have to import it at the top of app.js. So,
Go all the way.
like this.
Get rid of all of them and go to
Yeah.
Oh,
So go to the top and do that import statement.
oh, okay.
just refresh.
Oh.
Is it working?
I feel like after the door got closed, the AC was like double time.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So hot.
Speak for yourself. I'm freezing. But the last couple of weeks has been really warm and just muggy like crazy.
Yeah. August and September,
Yeah.
the worst months.
So bad.
It's always bad like this.
Last year wasn't that bad.
That's true, last year was
But
a
the year
really
bef-
mild summer.
The year before it was like October
October is.
was
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
What is wrong with October? You guys got a problem with October?
In
What's
20
with me?
in 2020,
I remember
October
Halloween.
about
Yeah,
killed
Halloween,
me.
I just remember just.
It's lucky you can wear.
Yeah.
You don't even
I
regular
love
clothes.
That's my birth month. I love
I
it.
know.
That's my
October 2nd.
memory, so I know
Oh,
for sure.
I forgive you for being
Okay.
born in this terrible month in
I know.
2020.
And my daughter too, the last daughter, so
Yes.
October 15th.
Nice.
Both
October
Libras.
15th,
that's the
October
baby.
30 is my youngest.
Oh, see,
Day
just,
before Halloween.
see, she's like, I can't be born in November, I gotta be born in October. Smart.
Yeah, November 8th was her.
Alright, so what, I get it all.
All right, everybody's working. You can take pennies and things.
Take pennies, like,
Yes. If you click the penny button, it should start taking them based on. And if you get it to the end, then it will break.
Yeah.
If you take negative, get it to negative pennies. So we can fix that.
Oh. Oh, yeah. There it goes.
So what we'll say is const, or let's say if pennies
FCS.
minus num, or let's see, pennies is greater than num, then set pennies. And we don't have to do this callback function. We could say pennies minus num here as well. And that will probably be just fine because we're not going to be clicking fast enough to update it. So
What? Do we need to change it or
you can just leave it. Both will work. Okay. So here I'll change it back so that mine's the same as yours. Here I'll change it back so that mine's the same as yours. Here I'll change it back so mine's the same as yours.
Now I'm supposed to have two mixed together.
Oh, that's right.
That's right, you gotta remove that.
You just need you need to put the set pennies inside of that.
Oh, okay. So like that, and then put it at the end.
Yep. Just after set pennies.
Oh, okay. So one more,
Yeah.
one more curly brace.
Okay, so now you shouldn't be able to break it because it won't.
How do I reset?
Say greater than or equal to. So we can take the last penny.
Why can't
Yeah.
I'm taking all my pennies. So any pennies away.
You have to make it greater than or equal to.
Yes, right here. So you can take the last penny that way. Okay, else. And then this would be where we would tell it that there's not enough pennies. So let's create const message set message equals use state, and it will be a blank string. And we'll say set message there aren't that many pennies left. How do you spell imbecile? 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 Sile?
C.
Imbecile?
You have to say it with the
Imbecile?
Mediterranean accent. Imbecile. You know, like Mediterranean accent.
I used to have a spell checker on here, but it bothered me a lot.
Yeah.
It's just so fun that we're misspelling imbecile.
Imbecile.
Is that how you spell it now?
I don't know, I'm just saying it's an ironic thing.
Let's see.
Spell.
Yeah,
That's
he's
that's right.
He's right.
Sandy was right.
It's like misspelling illiterate, you
There you
I
go.
probably would do that too.
Idiot.
know? It's
It's
just
so
that
idiot.
wrong.
Alright. And then feedback is going to get the message. Okay, so now if you try and take all the pennies, get it down
So I'm
to,
not gonna put loops anymore down there. I'm gonna change the messages.
there aren't that many pennies left, you imbecile.
I like it. Here's the loop. I like that. Alright, I'll change. I'll change. Stay the same. Okay.
I think it's,
Put this up in my message. It doesn't like my set message. I don't know why.
It's because you're not using it.
Oh, okay.
So in the else message, I'm using it. That's why mine doesn't have the underlines.
Oh, okay. Anything else?
Yeah, where your cursor is.
Yeah.
See how you have else, but you're not calling set
Oh, I didn't do
message?
anything, yeah.
I'm calling set message on line
There you
17.
go. So you put something there that I didn't see.
Yes.
Imbecile. So I have to add imbecile no matter what. I
You
can't
don't
ignore
have
it.
to. You
I
can
have-
just
I
say,
can't ignore.
there ain't that many pennies.
Oh, okay. I like imbecile. Let's see there.
So, to recap, we added this piece of state. We call the setter in this else, and then we set message on feedback.
Left. You. In. I thought imbecile was with the E, that's why. It is with the I. Okay. Now I don't have that little split. Okay. Alright, let's see what I got. I have nothing.
You should have nothing.
Good.
And then if you take all the pennies and try and take more than there is, then it will stop you and tell you you're an imbecile.
There it is.
Wait, go back because you should be able to take the last one.
I should be able to take the last one.
Yep, go to your code. It should be greater than or equal to in your if message in your if.
Because I thought mine wasn't working anymore.
Try have it greater. Yep. So greater than or equal to. Yeah. So now you should be able to, if you go back, and then take that last one. You don't need to refresh. It's hot reloaded.
There we go. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
We would probably also want to set message here to a blank string for now. Or let's see, I guess it would be you took num and then we need 10 and then num is equal to 1 else these
That's cool.
And then once you have that, you can begin cleaning up, and we'll finish this next time because we're out of time. It's time to go sit in traffic.
Yes, I was just thinking about that.
I'm gonna load up that my Netflix machine now.
Right.
Yep.
Well, like under Wi-Fi and not out of
Should have
signal.
downloaded it before you got here.
Yep.
Yeah. That was another thing, trying to watch YouTube with no signal.
Right by like the golf course, yeah.
Imagine what we used to do with our cell phones when we sat in the traffic. So what did that do? What I just did? When it,
What the date?
the last event that we put in, we took.
On line 17.
That's right,
Yeah.
'cause I was trying
So I'll
to do
refresh.
something like, oh my God.
Now, if you take 3 pennies, it should say you took 3 pennies. Now take 1 penny.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so let you know.
Yep.
Alright.
More deep brainers.
I'm sticking with this because of this color. You can see really clearly. That's just the glasses, like the color that allows me to follow, allows me to separate. So it's like I can follow along so much better now. These colors separate.
Sweet.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
It's all about what's most effective for you. I trial and error everything, but I tried them all.
I took the last box home and ate them all by myself and I got sick.
I have this one.
Cookies, yeah, I don't have a stock.
Welcome.